Coming to a cinema near you, Godzilla versus Thomas the Tank Trackmaster2.
Warning, this video contains scenes that will disturb rail fans and fans of Wally-Roo. Hi there everyone on YouTube! I'm going to do a video and it's going to cover a number of topics. In fact, it'll probably be split up into a number of videos. There'll be a bit of that boogie there. I've been sent some boxes from the USA. We're going to talk about some of the stuff over there. Bit of toilet talk. Thomas toilet talk, of course. Mr. Blender is going to help us to spice these videos up. You don't know when Mr. Blender is going to appear and you have no idea what's going to be blended yet. We're going to talk about those. We're going to have a quick chat about those. But I think what we'll kick off with is a chat about this. As I'm making this video, Halloween is just around the corner. Last year I made a Halloween video which was fairly successful and I used the Midnight Express Trackmaster set. And as we all know, the Thomas Trackmaster, the original version, will work on the stop and go. And what's interesting about the stop and go is it's got these little rollers here, so when Thomas is in the stop area, his wheels keep rolling on the rollers so he doesn't get all bound up. But alas, comes Trackmaster2. Let's see what happens now. Along he comes. He's on the stop and go, but what's going to happen when I let him go? He doesn't go. But also notice his little wheels are not on those rollers. So what's this saying to me about compatibility of Trackmaster2 to the original Trackmaster? Let's take a look at the Morgan's Mine piece. The Morgan's Mine piece was basically a tunnel. Also had a piece of track which ran over the top, but the really nice part was the inside piece, which had a trigger point for a little lantern to turn on. If we send the original Trackmaster or Trackmaster 1 through, we will see the lantern start flashing. It's a lovely little feature, so let's try Thomas Trackmaster 2 version. As speedy as he is, he comes to the lantern and comes to a complete and utter stop. So let's take a look at what is going on here. And the little item there that triggers a light is causing the problem. Sadly, the design flaw is this section here, which interacts with the track, is set far too low on Trackmaster 2. There's not enough clearance between this and the wheels to clear the little tricks on the track. Just analysing Trackmaster 2 Thomas over that area where the lantern gets triggered, you can see how high up the wheels are being lifted up for the fact that this little button here doesn't depress down far enough. But we shouldn't be blaming this as being the problem because this came before this one here. The problem lies underneath these new trains. So with the advent of Trackmaster 2, these really nice track adapters were made, and sure enough they will clip between both styles of track. As you know, classic Trackmaster 1 Thomas will scoot along there without any trouble, but when we bring Trackmaster 2 Thomas through, oops, as we can see, he gets caught up. But you know what, in a funny way, all this should be no surprise because it's sort of spelled out if you take a read of this here. And it's always funny, it's very important to read the fine print. What does it say in that smallest writing there? Motorized engines may not work with all Trackmaster sets. So for all the people creating the Storm and the Teacup and they're sending me links to petitions and trying to get Mattel to change the design and go back to scratch and whatever else, forget it guys. There's nowhere where they're saying that this is really compatible with the old system. I can't read it. If you were reading that, maybe you'd have a legal case. Just rejoice in the fact that Thomas can now do some pretty impressive hill climbs. Watch him go. Okay, let's clear that Thomas stuff away and let's talk about those Godzilla toys there. Well, we all love a Godzilla fight. These two Godzilla toys, you can see the prices on there. That one there was $15, that one there was $20, and they were purchased from the dark side markets. When I queried whether they were licensed or not, I was actually told that these were real Godzilla toys, but I actually don't believe that, although I'm not an expert on these toys. This one has got articulation, as you can see, and there's a bit of a sign on the bottom here, one of these feet. Let's take a look under here. Well, I hope you can read that. It looks like Toho, trademark and something Toho. I think Jakks Pacific did the most recent Godzilla toys. I'm highly suspicious these are knockoffs, and I say that because the shop was basically pack loaded with them. Here's the other Godzilla toy here. This one's got an open mouth. Although, the funny thing is I can't actually pull bits off this. That might be a sign that it's legit. Normally a knockoff toy will just basically crumble apart in your hands. I'm going to have to rely on the audience to tell me about these Godzilla toys.
Coming to a cinema near you, Godzilla versus Thomas the Tank Trackmaster2.
Well, that's enough of Godzilla. On board. Let's give something a blend. Well, how many of you rail fans out there know about this little series of trains? First issue is Mallard. There it is there, although this Mallard looking like it's had a few problems. As you can see, some of the wheels have already flown off. Maybe it was going a bit too fast. It's had a bit of a sticker Friday. That sticker's not very straight there. And this thing, first issue was $5.95. And of course, they tend to ramp up. This is actually issue 2 here, which is this train here. And I think it ends up ramping right up to the price of $19.95. They tend to come with this magazine. I noticed the National Railway Museum logo is on this. And what you'll find in here, of course, information about the collection, information about the trains, and I probably can't show you too much of this because there'll be copyright issues. So this series of locos was 00 gauge, or let's call it HO as well. Let's not get into that debate right now. But if you're really keen, there's also the smaller N gauge models getting about. Because I'm a magician, I can actually present here one of the N gauge of the series. It's issue 29. It was floating around in the news agency. No one loved it, so I ended up coming in to love it. And I've got a feeling that I prefer the smaller scale versus the large scale there. But as some of you may know, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to collecting. You can collect Star Trek stuff. Oh yeah, I like that one. You can collect Doctor Who. Yep, gotta like that. You can even collect bits to make a human skeleton. You can collect fire trucks. Gotta like that. You can collect giant warplanes. You can also collect military watches. The amount of money which would be made by these bit collections would be absolutely staggering. Oh, and there's one I almost forgot. You can collect parts to make your own model railway village, and at $20 a pop in issue 8, that's a very expensive signal. But I'll be quite honest here. Let's get real and let's ask ourselves, will Mallard blend? This issue 1, I actually bought 6 of these. And hopefully I'm going to do a series of videos which is going to show you how you can use these to your advantage. Oh, and this isn't one of the prettiest unboxings that I've seen. This bit's falling off this wheels down the bottom there. Out she comes. Ooh, look at that. What a machine. Well, I will admit the magazine that came with the collection was a fairly good read. It told me there were 6 of these preserved, which is very nice. This one won't be preserved, I can tell you. It's suffering some major problems here. This is how it was in box. I don't know whether this is common with this railway series. Maybe there are people out there who have collected this. I'm sure there would be, because I know a lot of people who watch my channel are into trains. What I'll do is I'll unscrew Mallard here, and we will present Mallard to a brand new challenge in life. Oh, let's be coming and get one of these shots which seem to be very, very popular on my channel. The screw shot. Well, this is a very long screw shot indeed. Look at it go. This is the final one up on the back of the tender. Well, there's the base plate and a piece of 00 track there. But I think the thing that really worried me here was the fact this sticker is just so crooked. Is that something that happens across this series? I would hope not. As for the engine, let's take a bit of scrutiny of this. Well, okay, we're missing one of the buffer pieces here. Suppose all the bits are on there. I suppose the detailing on this, I'd classify it as moderate. I wouldn't call this highly detailed. It's very plastic, it's very light. Obviously the front bogie piece there has broken away in box. Coming back to this bits here. Yeah, look, just bits are just crumbling off in my hands here. Whatever that plate there is in the driver area. Oh yeah, okay. Well, obviously this is stuff you put up on the mantelpiece and you don't play with it too much. Let's take a look at the tender. Little bits of detailing there. The coal. I wonder what that bit's there called. I know my audience will know. Is that the brake lines? They seem to be on okay. Well, the tender seems to be okay. I can give it a bit of wango fango, and it's not falling apart. It's interesting, underneath the main engine here, there's a screw there. This piece here is metal, that went to the wheels that broke away in boxes. Also, this piece here is metal as well that goes to the tender. I thought these wheels were plastic, just very well painted plastic bits, but they are actually metal, and if I get a knife here I can strike it and you can see that it starts to become shiny. I can't get shards of plastic to come off. That's metal. As for exactly what metal this is, all I can say is that it is not magnetic like the blade there is. It's some sort of non-ferrous metal. So hopefully this will make for one very interesting blend. The blender I'm using is a Sunbeam Cafe series. It's actually proving to be quite a tough nut to bust. It's still working fine for me. Yeah. It's been through quite a few toy blends now. There are a couple of videos that you haven't seen this one do because of the troubles I've had on YouTube. But we're all going to wonder, will its last blend be Mallard? And boys and girls, definitely do not attempt this at home with your mum's best blender, or else she's going to send me the bill, I'm sure. Noticing I've got some safety doodah on my hands. And let's not forget the little trinkets that fell off this beautiful model. At least by doing this I can have the title on this video, Mallard, Will It Blend? I betcha she's going to be a noisy one. Okay, who's up for Mallard smoothie? They're cheap today. Well, the Mallard has busted the Sunbeam big time. I'm just looking at the GoPro, it looks like it's captured the footage and it looks completely wild. Oh yeah, that was exciting. A little bit frightening as well when it blew out the side. This blender, for those of you who don't know, has actually done quite a few toy blends on my channel. I was actually quite surprised how much punishment this machine took. It costs, for me, over $200. I mean, it's a quality item. Just for the fact it's broken on this video doesn't mean it's rubbish. I tell you what, this thing took a lot more punishment than the Aldi blender I bought, which only took about 2 blends. I was always curious how these jugs would fail. Now I can see why, and I've got a funny feeling the reason why it failed is these wheels. The fact that we had some metal wheels in here. These are actually, there's a fair bit of weight in these. And boy oh boy, look at the way where it's failed has just sprayed out a whole ton of Mallard bits and bobs. But just looking over the debris field here, maybe I should do a wheel count to see if I can find all the bits and pieces to poor old Mallard. And maybe the lesson here is that you don't put metal parts into your blender, because we've got to have some sort of material science in this, or someone's going to flag it for having fun. And sadly these days on YouTube it seems having a bit of fun is almost a crime, but let's not forget this most important shot when we're doing these styles of videos, because we've got to play homage to Blendtec. Here we go, you ready for it? Mallard smoke, don't breathe that. And obviously on my videos when things go wrong, they are not edited out. What I'm going to do is very simple. I'm actually very impressed with this Sunbeam Cafe Series blender. I think anyone who's seen the punishment I've given it should be impressed as well. I'm going to see if they can send me out some jugs, because I bet you the jugs are not cheap. It's probably one of these things where the jug is going to be close to the price of the actual whole unit. The only thing wrong is the jug is broken. The bottom piece here is still perfectly fine, but I'm also going to wonder whether Mr. Blendtec is going to be, let's say, curious to deliver to me one of his amazing blenders. I also noticed the drive gear. I've got a funny feeling that shouldn't be there. I've got a feeling that should be under here. It has come off. Well, there's the drive union on the bottom of the jug, and you can see that it's failed in the middle there. It was a very untidy blend in the end, a lot of vibration, and you can see the giant crack through the middle there. So in seeing that damage there, maybe I'm up for more than the jug, because what I found out is this piece actually unscrews. Because it's a professional device, this, you can take the blades out, and the jug is actually a totally separate unit. Well, what I'll do is I'll clean off the blender stuff. I'll just gather the bits of Mallard and we'll take a look at the damage report. It was only a short time ago a beautiful A4 Mallard model sat there, but now it has been totally reformatted via a blender. Who knows, the ghost of Sir Nigel Gresley may have come along to make sure this Mallard destroyed the blender. I think I can account for all the wheels, but some of these wheels were found in other parts of the workshop. On a close inspection of one of the smaller wheels, you can see the punishment that has been dealt via the blender's blades. Here is one of the larger wheels. You can see that some spokes are missing. It's really been hammered. In the main part of the model, some parts have survived. They're quite large, you can recognise where they come from. But there are other parts which are very small, and I've got no idea where some of these come from. I dare say the rivet counters would tell me where these bits and bobs are found. It'd be like air crash investigators trying to piece this one back together. Here's one you'll recognise. Looks like the step that goes up into the driver's cab, doesn't it? But there's one strange part here which sort of has me thinking, oh, okay, yeah, that's part of the blender. I was trying to work out what that was. I can see by the red there, that's the side of the blender. Well, I've got to say, that was an awesome blend. It was spectacular, it was noisy, and it's one that we'll all remember for a long time. And people say, hey, you remember the time when you blended Mallard? And I'll say, yeah, weren't they the good old days? I know, people are going to ask, Leo, what are you going to do with that munched up Mallard? Well, here it is. It's inside the jar. When I redo my toy table with the jars, I'll have that as part of the display. The next thing we're going to take a look at is this mystery carton from the USA. Of interest, it cost $50 to send to Australia. I guarantee to you, if I sent the same size carton and the same weight to the USA, I'd be up for 100 Australian dollars. I'm always a bit wary opening up cartons. This box has come from a YouTuber I know called Mainline. I've known Jim for quite a few years, since about early 2009. One of the first people I got to know on YouTube was actually a person, or the channel The Church of Dave. He's actually one of the first people ever to send me a PM. Maybe one day I should talk about those early formative years when I was on YouTube, because I could tell you some stories which would hopefully relate to some people who are starting off now, because we've all been there with no subscribers and no views. I certainly remember those days. But Beanmaster22, who sent me this carton, has been a very, very rock solid friend for a long time now, and he knew me well before I was well known. Actually, I remember the first video I noticed. Well, I sort of got chatting to him on. There was one where he was giving some gifts to a McDonald's charity. One of McDonald's houses. He was sending a dinosaur toy. I'm pretty sure I'm right there, aren't I, Jim? And that act of charity actually got me chatting to him. Ooh, this looks interesting, doesn't it? Well, one thing I know is that Jim goes to Hawaii, and I'm pretty sure, that's where they come from. I've only stopped over in Hawaii on my way to Los Angeles many years ago. Maybe I should meet up with Jim in Hawaii. Maybe that'd be a very logical place, halfway point, for us to meet. There's some of those shirts. wine bottle covers. Little hats. I didn't know they came with little hats. How cute. What's this one here? Jokes and gags, fake lottery tickets. I've never seen anything like that before. Like I said, Jacksonville, Florida is down the bottom here. Made in China. Jaru, the company. Who knows about that thing there? I certainly haven't seen that in Australia. I see, so every ticket's a winner. It's interesting, there used to be good joke shops in Sydney, but they've all gone. I just don't think there was the market here to keep them running. What else is in here? 34 Valentines with 35 tattoos, SpongeBobby thing. Man, I've never seen anything like that before either. The most SpongeBob merchandise I see is it's all dark side knockoff stuff. My kids are going to love that one. I'll just get into this because I'm curious to see what it looks like, and I dare say you are too. Jim seems to know what's not in Australia. That's the one thing I've sort of worked out with him. There they are, some tattoos. And let's not forget, in this booty, there are the Valentine's Day cards. I mean, what sort of Valentine are you picking up if you're sending him SpongeBob stuff? Yeah. Yeah, so who has seen that one about? Interesting, isn't it? America, you sort of find everything. What else is in here? I wonder what this. Imagine a customs office opening something and then this thing pops out. Guess who's appearing on my channel? Wally Roo TV. And to give you a feel for what Wally Roo can do on my channel, let's give him a spin. Oh, if the glove fits, I say wear it. Wow, Wally Roo, what do you got there? It's a gun! Don't you know guns are dangerous, Wally Roo? No! Well, what are you going to do with it, Wally Roo? I'm going to shoot some Play-Doh with this gun! Now watch this. Lock and load, Play-Doh, you're going to go. Wally Roo, you totally missed. Oh, I was actually aiming for Thomas up the back. Well, you didn't hit anything, Wally Roo. Silly Wally Roo. I think the trick with the wine bottle cover from Hawaii is that it's actually Wally Roo's little costume. He just performed naked, so I'm going to have to put a warning on this video. I'd hate to scare the small children. I like the hat thing there. And I think he ends up going inside this costume, and I'll sort that another day. It'll take me a while to dress Wally Roo, because look at him now. He's being a star. He's being very hard to dress. I'll deal with him later. Okay, let's dig a bit deeper into this box and see what else comes out. There's all little bits and bobs in here. Here is a I Love Explosives, a Dino Nobel sticker. I can add that to my explosive sticker collection. I actually should send over to Jim some that I've got that he wouldn't have. There's one of those things from Hawaii. At the moment the name escapes me. There we are. Thank goodness for that. However you pronounce that. A lei, is it? Lei? Lei. I think it's a lei. Why am I thinking of Elvis Presley right now? Isn't that weird? Ooh. Well, these look yummy. Milk chocolate macadamias. Obviously from Hawaii, as the Beach Boys would sing it. They look very, very scrummy. Thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. What else is down here? Ooh. Some sort of sweetie thing? Oh my god. No. No, don't tell me. Okay, this is a candy. Always say lolly where we are. A lollipop. Scorpion sucker. I have never ever seen or heard of anything like this before in my life. My goodness me. I'll just pull out of the bag here. You know, I've heard about people having like gear shift knobs with scorpions and tarantulas and things, but I've never seen a lolly with a scorpion. I wonder if they do Huntsman spider lollies. Maybe it's something I could get into and make a lot of money. Well, this box is proving to be quite an assortment of things. It's a well thought out little gift box. This is one of two. I'll be looking at another one in a separate video because this video is getting way too long. And my attention span data is shocking on YouTube. What is in here? You know, it's funny. The thing that I'm thinking of here, I'm thinking it's Spanish Fly. That was something that when I was a bit younger, you know, it was a prank to go and find that when you're overseas. Oh, to be young again, hey? Oh, but we're always young on YouTube, aren't we? We're always just, you know, real youngsters. I'm like 23, you know. What is this? This looks really weird. I don't know how to get the thumb into that a bit more. Does anyone know what this could be? I've got no idea what this is. From what I can work out, there's no label on this. There's nothing in the packaging or the declaration that talks about this. It's a mystery. So, who out there is clever? Who can identify what is in this glass file sent from the Beanmeister? Let's see your comments. And in the box again, pulling back the blue bubble wrap, we have a Monster High doll. That's very nice of you, Jim. Thanks for sending this out. These can be very, very difficult to find, especially the male characters I worked out are very hard to find with Monster High. My daughter's right into Monster High, and I've got a funny feeling she is going to love this doll. It's interesting, just on dolls, these were really popular in a funny way. Last year they hyped through Australia in a sense, but the ones which I thought were excellent were the My Little Pony Equestria girl dolls. To me, they just had the right doll mojo to be really nice. And with those pony dolls, both my daughter and my son love them. My son loves Applejack. If that's a problem, please let me know. There's nothing else in this box. Okay. Thank you very much, Jim. It's a great variety of gifts that you've sent me. You always seem to be able to pull off some very interesting things when you send them to me. Oh yeah. Well, that was just one box. There'll be another box in another video. I really am worried about lengths of times and videos now. These sets here were going for $15 in Aldi in Australia, but I saw them much lower than that. They're being dumped. You get 3 of the Transformers, the Creo Transformers in there, plus 2 Creons. How low do you think it was going in Australia? You're going to get a shock when I tell you that one. I'll tell you. Next video, we're going to take a look at some of the other things we didn't come across on this one. Over there, Dickie Toys. I'm getting more Dickie Toys. I found some little ones. The Thomas prices, those sets there have jumped by $5. Those 3 sets up there at one store. I was talking about prices in a recent video. And also these kits here, and I might make up one of these and I will send the rest to the Beanmeister. These are interesting, very, very interesting brick kits that I think they're new to the market. They're expensive, but I think they're well worth it. And now, because I can, we're going to have Wally Roo sign off for me. Wally Roo, why are you shaking? Because I've just realised I'm naked. Oh, Wally Roo, we can't see the private bits there down below the camera line. Oh, but I don't like being on camera naked. Ah, silly Wally Roo. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. I still think I'm naked. Bye. Actually, I should check this because I know the Beanmeister loves pranks. I hope this is not one of those prank things. It feels like the right weight. It sounds like, oh, please don't be a prank, Jim. Oh, phew. You just don't know with the Beanmeister. It can be a real nasty prank. I'm going to have a taste of one of these, as naughty food as it is. Here we go. Oh. These are beautiful. The taste of the tropics. Oh, I'm in Hawaii immediately. Farewell. I can't see them saying that there's compatibility. Just rejoice in the fact that Thomas can do some very steep hill climbs now. Watch him go. Sometimes. It's a much smaller train versus that, whatever. I sort of like the smaller scale versus the larger one, but, you know, I don't know what I'm saying now. Well, Wally Roo, what do you got there? It's a gun! Aren't guns dangerous, Wally Roo? No! Geez, Wally Roo, what do you got there? That voice is killing me. It's a gun! Don't you know, Wally Roo, guns are dangerous? No, they can shoot later. Watch out, Play-Doh. I'm locked and loaded. Here we go. Oh, Wally-Roo, you're a rotten shot. Oh, I was actually aiming for Thomas up the back. You didn't hit him, Wally-Roo. Aww, I forgot what to say. Wow, Wally-Roo, you missed. No, I didn't watch. Oh, oh, that's not a pretty sight. That's the sort of picture I'm going to set up as a thumbnail in this video. And it's funny, a lot of people criticize me and they say, oh, Leo, your thumbnails are very misleading. But this video is an example of one where I'm going to talk about all sorts of different brands and things. So maybe you guys can tell me what a more appropriate thumbnail should be. And keep an eye out on my channel because I'll be doing a little talk about the way I set up my thumbnail pictures and the way I photograph them. And there's nothing, you know, super complex, it's just a bit of white paper. Sometimes I'm even too lazy to put that up. And something set up quite nice. That was very dodgy, brothers, wasn't it?